Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And today is the day. Pretty much most of the highlights for episode 1 have come out, as well as the crew song performances have been released. So I am here along the ride with you guys. We're gonna go through each crew, kind of look at what their vibe and their energy is, and it's gonna be, I'm super excited. I'll try to leave some timestamps in the description just so you can kind of, if there's a particular crew you just wanted to look at, I'll do my best to provide that, just to make it easier for you. I'll do an initial reaction for each one, and then I'm gonna go back and then I'm gonna kind of talk through my thoughts of that particular crew. I'm very excited about all of them. I can't wait for just to see all of their growth through the entire process, and I think this is a great benchmark to look at. Without further ado, we're gonna get started with the first crew. Let's take a look. Kylie Kim. I'm assuming they're gonna go with like that cowboy, possibly. I mean, she's in heels, but I was gonna say like a, you know, like a duel. That reminds me of Spider by Hoshi. That was a nice little cut. Nice. Ooh, nice. I know she's got some she's got some tutters on her team based on the excerpts of the studio's videos I've seen. Nice. Fun. I don't know how I feel about the camera being so shaky. It's really hard for me to pay attention to some of the dynamics that they're showcasing because it's so difficult to get a clear view of what's actually happening. So that would be my big note for this. That was cute. Meaning like the ending. I know they took a more like a sexy bad A approach. Yeah. But all in all, I mean, I really liked it. I think it gave you a little taste of the nuances of what the crews had to offer, or the people in the crew had to offer. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna slow it down and we're gonna kind of just talk through. I think most of the things I've already kind of mentioned during it. So it looks like they're, you know, with cowboys, and they walk and they, you know, they draw guns and it's kind of like a shootout. I feel like it's kind of like a little nuance towards that. It's very Western, very literally concept. So here, yeah, that right there, it kind of gave that impression of somebody like shot her hat off. So this part, I mentioned it already, reminds me of, wasn't there a choreography by Hoshi? I don't know if he choreographed it or somebody did for him, but it was to Spider. Like that just reminds me of that. There's a chance maybe she choreographed it. I don't know. I'm not that fluent with this, but that was cool. I'm assuming that was a different person, just kind of having that was a really nice cut that they did too, just having different people. I like the angles that they gave. This whole beginning was really nice. I kind of wish it was this clean of that right there. They were doing ticking there, which was really nice. With just the accents here, a little bit of femme nuance. That was really nice. They've done a great job of their presentation of kind of being more physically, like their performance being more domineering, maybe. That's a word, you know, like before, like when a snake before it strikes, kind of like that. Yeah, they have a really nice menacing sense about them here, and this was an interesting angle there, wherever it hits, and this is when it starts to get too shaky for me, where I'm not able to appreciate what they're doing, because what they're hitting, their movements are so soft, and then they are able to kind of wrist roll over into the different angles. And I mean, I like the choreography. It matches, it's tasteful, it's not too much. Even this too, like, even when people like put their hand over their mouth. Sometimes you can take it too far, but for this, I don't think it was really, I don't think that was done just enough, you know, like there was the fine line, she didn't cross it, but it just showed she's like, we're here, you know, welcome. Even that too, like, because none of this has been too much. And also, no, I'm assuming they're all adults too. So that was really cool, seeing this kind of her rolling back and chilling there, and then having somebody else there. I'm assuming, is that Leah Kim? Yes, it is. And then that was a really cool transition because you had her go around and then they finished the camera and it showed her coming up. So kind of, that was a really creative transition that I didn't notice. So that was fun. So you can tell she's, I mean, she's the leader of the crew. I think like most people kind of knew that before this video. Yeah, so dun dun da da, then they go to the ground, which is nice here. I'm curious as to what kind of floor this is. So whenever you're sliding on the ground with bare skin, like kudos if it's like concrete. It looks like concrete, but the color grading looks really cool. And that was a nice transition too, of the hands on the ground and then having them back up here, down. So it has a lot of like, they're of course we know they're here, they're not playing, they're like, welcome to our neighborhood, glad you could be here. So it has those nuances about it, and then just having the lack of any emotion, they're like, welcome, you know. So but overall, I really like it. It's a very strong start for them as a crew representing on Street Woman Fighter. Cannot complain so far. Yeah, looking forward to seeing them in episode 1. It's gonna be great. This one's also Western themed. Okay. This is fun. They have a more like a vintage filter on it. Ooh. Oh. Very intense in a very different way. Nice. Ooh. Oh, I love this section. Sheesh. Wow. They're hitting this so well. Oh. Oh. Kudos to the videographer. I like how steady the camera is so I can see the dancing. Ooh. Nice. Bless it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Bless it. That was really good. Let's just get into it. Initial thoughts. Man, oh man. There's certain ways that they chose to hit those. Totally was not expecting, especially for this type of video. So that is mad impressive. I love that. Okay, so I don't know if everybody was supposed to follow a particular theme. I'm gonna assume as of right now, no, until proven otherwise. If everybody is doing a Western theme, then I guess that was the first challenge with the videos. I don't know, but forgive me. I will learn eventually. Yeah. Okay, so real talk. I know this is Bada Lee's crew, but forgive me though, like every time I've seen her choreograph, she's always had a mask on because I discovered her around whenever, around 2020 and on. And so very rarely have I had an opportunity to see her actual face. So I'm gonna assume this is Bada Lee because of her hair. So, and I know she's in this crew, so I'm just gonna assume it, but like, okay, this right here, I think that was a little too much for me, but also they're adults, and she said spicy, and they did it in a different way, and she's fully clothed, but it's just the position, how she chose to do it. I think that was just a tad bit too much for me, for the type of routine I feel like she could have toned it down maybe a tad bit, but also they ain't here to play. So if they were going for it, she went for it. So that may have worked in her favor. For me, that was nice. Da da da, and they're like. So I'm seeing a lot of that kind of pattern where they're like angling up with the switch of the hips, which is super fun. Man, the flexibility, like doing a hitch kick is really tricky to do if you don't have flexibility and you're not used to jumping at all. So that was really nice, and it was tasteful, and it matched. That right here, they chose to do a whacking overhead to go that, which I'm not used to seeing people actually integrate that style. Like that style normally doesn't match this type of music, but it worked really well in their case here. That right there, she went, bruh, that was awesome. That was, and like just her eye contact, like she's like, yeah, I did this, what you gonna do? Strong. I don't know who choreographed this section, but I would say it's like, yeah, it is sexy, but it's like bad sexy, right? Like it's we're out, welcome, you know, like this is us, and it is so, I don't know, like I am a huge fan of this one for sure. That was nice to just change the angle in there here. They're like, yeah. And that was just nice and subtle. Da-da-da. For me, I appreciate it when a crew doesn't have to go so hard all the time. That was really nice. This one feels very much like a showcase, right? Like this is a showcase of the members, and I feel like it is the members. It's not as conceptual, I think, which I think I prefer this because it's just more content to appreciate. So it's interesting how they're just making these choices to do this kind of swinging rebound of their hips with a lot of kind of grabs of that nature, and I think it's just different, but I really feel like, yeah, that was nice too. It's just kind of having the floor as also the framing with the chair. And then boom, I think she could have hit that a little bit better. And so far, it feels like, I mean, every section is strong. I would say my favorite section, surprisingly, is the one we just watched, because of just, there was like so many little pockets of what in the world? You chose that and it worked so well. It was just very surprising to me. Yeah. Da-da-da-da, like it was just da-da-da-da, and I think the femininity of the voice really helps whenever they're trying to hit it, and they're hitting it in a very femme posture, even there's such a grimy backbeat, and I think that's what I like is their song choice. I love their song choice, like da-da-da-da, like just having it in their face, they're selling it with their face. Yeah, I will say they're grabbing their neck a lot. Like I know Bada, hopefully, grabbing their neck so much, like boom, da da da, and like they're doing that a lot. I wish that they made maybe different choices, like maybe went around the back. And I'm just seeing this very specific pattern a lot when they're making creative choices. So it was interesting. So instead of going, they're like, they chose to hit right there. That was a really interesting choice. This was fun. Sheesh. I love this because it's taking advantage of the space that you have. That was nice. It's just like, I'm used to seeing people in those patterns and how they choose to use the wall. Like I've seen this pattern before, but what was different is how like there's a breath and a hesitation before they go into the next one. So it matches the music really well. Their musicality so far, phenomenal. Ooh, bless. Did y'all hear that in the back? And they just dropped. Oh, that's probably one of my favorite musicality moments I think I've seen so far. I mean, I haven't seen very much, but that's probably going to be a top 5 favorite musicality moment from these videos. I love that. And then immediately goes and it just tailors down into these 4. And so we had those, they melted down, and now we get to see the other ones showcase. I think they did a great job in featuring their dancers. Oh, look, and then they're down here. Oh man, that's so fun. Yep, and did she touch your neck again? Yeah, I told you. Like, I mean, they're really doing that. Now, I'm not super fluent in Korean, so I don't know if the song is about the neck so much. Anyway, but I really wish they just made more creative choices in that kind of like presence hold. Yeah. That's fun. Just the transitions between the full group and not. This feels like a boy crew video, right? Yeah. That da 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 boom 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 boom. The basses are game. But they're all doing their own thing. I'm not used to seeing that normally. They all do the same thing and then that peels all the way down. But they all did their own thing and it still worked in that ripple. Woo! And I like the teetering there because it was like, and then like, go away, right? That was fun. And then they go down and then it comes up. That was awesome. I loved that. I am so excited to see their choreography in the season for sure. Caught me huge by surprise. Cannot wait. Okay, Mina Young's group. Okay. I like their attire, it's fun. Nice. Yep, a lot of unison I'm seeing so far. Hey. Woo, okay. So from one person to 3 people, and they're still showcasing. So they're showcasing each person individually, it looks like. Okay. Okay. Wow. Very powerful. They're hitting their music. That's a fun little edit. It's the first that I've seen where they're doing kind of that, the shorts kind of look. Hey, that was nice. Hey, that was a nice little musicality moment there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very strong. That was a strong start. That was a strong start. Forgive me. I will say, being very honest, I think this one is one of the weaker ones in comparison to some of the ones that I've already seen. But that doesn't mean that it is not strong in its own right. So just because I say that they may, I guess, like, just to put it pretty bluntly, I think, like, it feels very typical, right? It just feels like a typical, here we are, they're doing content. And I mean, it was very, I think it was very predictable. I think that's why I think I'm a tad bit disappointed in this one. Because I mean, it's strong. Yeah, absolutely. But when you're showcasing your crew for the first time, and if you're going to, especially if you're going to present yourself in a very particular stance when you go in being like, don't you know who I am? Like, if you're like, I am top dog here, you got to bring something stronger than this. This is just real talk. So like, here, it's clean. It's great. Formations are great. Here's the thing. This is great. But is it the best that I've seen so far? No. And I'm only 3 deep out of the 8. So it does make me a tad bit worried for this group. Because, I mean, they're adding some fundamentals in here, like a Harlem Shake. Dun, 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 they have just predictable musicality. Yeah. So okay, I will say this, they do have some really nice nuances. So like whenever they're hitting something, just having just like a slight shift of their body is really nice, and it does help here. They have good moments here, but also it just feels very predictable. But also when you have a lot of these people, for me, yeah, this is supposed to be really strong. Do I feel like her torso's a little bit too locked up for what she's doing? Yeah, I really wish that she didn't, whenever she's hitting a lot of this, let me go back, because there's a very particular thing that she does. What is it? Well, so they part away. So like this right here, that move right there is meant to actually supposed to ring it about with the chest, and she didn't do that there. So I think even if that's the very first thing I'm seeing from you as a soloist, and you're going, and then when you're throwing, and the camera, I think, is helping in some way, but also I feel like it could be taking away what she's doing too. I think your musicality's fine. That right there is da 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 da. Like the setup, that was okay. You know, but I'm also not able to see their legs as much as I wish, you know? That was nice. Doom, doom, drop. Like, that was a really nice moment. I like that. That was strong. She was strong. Strong member right there. Yeah, so I would say for her, I wish that she was more powerful using her torso. I think this crew, the reason why I think I'm a little disappointed, but also I'm going to be honest, like real talk, like being super real here. I have seen Mina Myung over the years, and this looks like her choreo. So it looks like a lot of these people were influenced from her, which makes sense why she is the leader of this group. I'm assuming. I haven't watched the episode officially yet, but I'm going to be honest. I think one of the biggest weaknesses that this group is going to have is their complete lack of torso groove. And I haven't seen the freestyles yet, but I'm a little worried that they're not going to have this present when you need it. Whenever you're trying to justify any fundamental anything, you got to have a groove. That is, you can't, that's a non-negotiable. You have to have a groove. When you're doing whacking, your posture is a particular way. When you're doing crump, when you're trying to do old school hip hop, you know, there's, those postures are different. And when you're meshing them like this, which, you know, it's what choreographers do in this day and age, you're going to run into this problem if you're not actually utilizing this chest. You're gonna run into the problem that I'm mentioning here. That's why this doesn't look as strong as other crews that I have already looked at. Because whenever, like, the choreo is fine. That's not the concern. It's just not strong because they're not using your core. They're not using power from here in their back. When they're hitting a lot of stuff, they're using their arms. And I will say I'm really sensitive to this kind of posture because I work with a lot of dancers who, when they dance powerful, they don't utilize their torso because of their training, their background. A lot of them are studio based, so they train in very technical styles. Now, I don't know their backgrounds near as much as my own kids, but just real talk, like, I think that's really my biggest thing for them is, you know, like, it held its own. But is this the strongest one out of the 8? I'm gonna tell you right now the answer is no, because I've already watched some that are better, and I'm not even 8 deep, like I've already said. This is strong. She's very strong. So I would say right now, like, these two right here, very strong and powerful. It could be because of the extra clothing that they're wearing, because clothing helps. You can't have people sit there and say, yeah, you can dance in nothing and you look amazing. That's true if you are like, if that's your culture and that's your style. But if you are trying to really adopt a style, a lot of times you really have to look at the fashion of what you're trying to hit. Yeah, so you know, and I think the hair helps here too. Yeah, so they have those two in particular, I'm going to say, they're going to probably be the stronger ones when it comes to the choreographic execution of multiple styles, is these two right here. Because their face, like how they're approaching it, they're like, ah, like they have that, we're here, you know? And hers is very different. Hers is like, what's up, you know? But like they're performing, like this performance, that section was really good. I love this section. It's probably my favorite section of the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying? Even right there, she's not using her torso like at all. Me. Hey. So that was my favorite section of the whole thing. That is fun. I love this. This was a great section right here. How she's hitting the stuff is she's very nuanced. So I would say this is saving it for me right now. It's this little section right here. Yeah, so it goes here. That's locking nuance right here. Some locking influence right there. She did a great job. Yeah. I liked that one a lot. She did great there. Yeah. Okay. This section's a lot better. Yeah. But also know we're already a minute 30 in, and I needed this kind of energy at the beginning. You know, like how they're hitting it. Like some of them are really hitting it really well, and some of them are not pulling their weight the way they should. Yeah. So what I mean by pulling your weight is it's not just cleanliness. It's from power of presence. So what I've seen from other crews, something that was going to make your crew stand out is going to be, does everybody have strengths and weaknesses that complement each other? You can't have one person run the show. That's also my concern with 1 million. But I also know too, they have some really incredible tutters and they have some incredible people on there. I'm just curious how they work as a team. Just like here, I'm curious how they work as a team, because right now it feels like when you have a key point person and then you have other people behind them, even though they are just, I mean, they're here in their own right too. They're here to battle as well. You have to factor in that those dynamics are going to be different than people who all view each other as equals. Like the hierarchy is not like this, like here's me and then here's all my people in my crew. It's a, we're all in this crew and this is a representative of the crew. Like that hits different. And I will say, I don't know these crew dynamics. Once again, I have a really big feeling that 1 million, Leah's going to be that top, like she's the leader and everybody follows what she says, you know, and of course they provide influence, whatever. And I don't know if Mina's is going to be kind of like that too. I don't know, but I'm curious about the freestyle rounds because I've never seen her freestyle. So just like I've never seen any of these ladies freestyle. But yeah, and I know that's pretty much the end. Man, I mean, I wasn't like super excited, but I was looking, I think I was just disappointed because based on whenever you see certain groups and you're like, wow, I really like that. And then you watch another crew and you kind of wish you watched them first, just as like your benchmark. Because after from some that I've already seen, like this one I feel was a tad bit, I wanted something from it personally. And so I'm sorry. I'm trying to be unbiased and I'm trying to just look at these from like a just I'm comparing them because they are in competition with each other, and I don't know if these routines were all compared with each other as a challenge. I'm not sure, but I will say I feel that they could have done more, I think, and I'll just leave it at that. Does that mean that this was a bad video? Absolutely not. Video quality phenomenal, color grading awesome, outfits super great, super dope. Choreography totally looked fine. Everything looked fine. You just have to look at the context of what the show is and who you're up against. Does that make sense? So when you're comparing apples and oranges, but they're all in the same fruit basket, you gotta look, which fruit are you gonna pick first? You know, so you kind of got to think about it that way. Okay, they filmed this at YGX because of that mural in the back. Hey. Ooh, okay. Right now it just looks like they're just vibing how they want. It's like a freestyle, like just freestyle moments. Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna see choreo now? Ooh. Ah, I'm a killer for head ISOs. That was awesome. Okay, so it's looking like they're having a lot of moments, but they're not choreographing a ton of it. I think I've only seen about 2 8 counts of choreo. This is my next couple of 8 counts of choreo. I'm assuming she's the one who choreographed it. This is fun. Woo! Their grooves are pretty filthy. You cannot negate that. Woo! Yeah. That was a nice moment there. Yep. Hey, that was a nice moment. Nice. That was a hard little sequence that they did there. Okay. Ugh, ugh. Okay. Nice. Okay, so initial thoughts, I would say when it comes to content density, theirs was probably one of the least in actual choreography. However, if we're looking at it from a groove lens, they have some of the filthiest grooves. Because like I said, grooves originate from the torso. So just seeing this here too, like we know they All of this is just, hey, like just all camera work. So if anything, it showcases their ability to be in a camera. I love this finger tutting section. I have a feeling, so I don't know a lot of them very well. The only one I know very well is Kirsten, just because of my previous analyzing of years and years ago. I'm used to seeing her cruise, or her performing in cruise. But a lot of these girls I really don't know. And I think the girl that was just on the screen, she's probably, I have a feeling she's going to be a pretty good powerhouse. Like, just her personality and performance, it's just, it has this not underdog, but like a black sheep kind of vibe about it, which I love. It was nice. I love this bucket hat, not gonna lie. So they match the room pretty well. Yeah. Boom, boom. Yeah, boom. They're just vibing. This really feels like it was one of those, they have an afternoon, let's just film something, and it's just you know, it's just them. This feels like them. Which is probably, I mean, I would assume that's what they wanted. That little boom, da 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 da. This is all freestyle, probably. She's always utilized her chest in very exaggerated ways, but it's really hard to do that, but it comes from her training. Yeah. So far, the choreography complements them really well. Head ISO, really go. Oh, gosh. Yeah, so I will say this, out of all the crews that I've seen so far, they're the only crew that has made me, it looks like what they're doing is not as easy to transfer onto K-pop artists as a lot of the other crews' choreography is. So when you look at cleanliness, when you look at angles, when you look at strikes, or you're looking at postures and grooves, their groove sequences and their movement sequences that they are doing in this choreography are really difficult to replicate without having some prior experience with these types of styles. So I would say when it comes to transferableness onto K-pop, this one's probably the most difficult, even though they have the least amount of choreography. Da, 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 da. So like they're just having these moments, they're like da 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 da. And I could tell like some of the girls, they are like some of the girls are being showcased. So you're not just seeing one person, you're seeing like everybody's choreo, which I've seen that with all the other crews, but this feels like everybody views each other equally, is what it feels like right now. Hey. So that was a really nice polyrhythm, and all of them are just in it. Like you could tell in their face. They're like, bleh, like that kind of groove, just having this, you know, they're able to have so much charisma in their face while they're vibing with this, and also know that their grooves, they're not 100% the same range as each other, and that's what I'm saying. Like some of them, like she's not really dipping in it as much, but I'm assuming she choreographed this section. She's living in it because she's familiar with it. They're killing it over here too. So yeah. This part is just, you can feel the old school aesthetic about it. It has that 2000s on the basketball court, vibing out, has that kind of lifestyle vibe to it. That West Coast, East Coast, it has that, it's just got that vibe, you know. They're like, hey, hey, hey. It reminds me of like a 2000s, one of those 2000s movies, you know, where they would highlight a lot of dancing. It just has that aesthetic about it. Yeah. So that part right there is honestly, that part's not also like super clean either, but because they sell it right here, you don't care. Like that's a really impressive thing to do as a crew, is the ability to not have people care whether or not your crew's clean, because you're just vibing and popping off so much that that's the least of your concerns with what you're watching. So that's always a big thing to do. This was really nice. So I don't know if she choreographed this, I'm not sure, but even with the little nuances here on the hips, like that was a nice creative thing to do. That was a fun little moment. Yeah. Fun. Yeah. This sequence right here, the 2 taps and then the turn on the heel and then immediately jumping and keeping your leg off the ground to jump some more and do a heel taps around, da da da. That is a hard sequence to do, and they got all 5 of them doing it. I don't know how many takes they had to do to get that right, but yeah, that right there. Doing nice little camel walks. This section's pretty simple, but the vibes are pretty great. The camera guy's doing a great job. Yeah. 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 That the vibe hits different here, you know, than what I've seen so far. You could just there's more westernized grooves integrated in their stuff for obvious reasons, because they come from different backgrounds than a lot of the crews I've already seen. Now, does that mean that the other crews are not bringing themselves to the table? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that every crew, you can tell their own style and aesthetic. Do I think some crews, I feel like I wish they pushed the envelope more? Absolutely. Do I feel like Jam Republic really showcased themselves? Yup. I absolutely believe they did, and they did a great job. So I really liked this one. I'm looking forward to seeing how they are in the choreographic rounds as well as the freestyle. I've heard a couple things you've already noticed. I mean, I've been looking at some Reddit discussions, just kind of what people have been thinking about stuff, just so I can kind of wrap my head around what we're watching. And I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty pumped to see how everybody fares in this show. Man. Oh, cute! They're doing little intros. Oh, I love this. It's the first crew so far that I've seen that actually did that. That was cute. Ooh, that was a nice little moment. Hey. So they have this very like doll Barbie-esque, probably because of the pink. Okay. So they have, of course, a very feminine vibe about them. But they're doing a good job of switching between the 2 postures. Okay, Miss Vogue. Cute! Ooh! Love the costume change. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you better tut. Wow. I'm getting goosies off of this one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they didn't come to play at all. That was awesome. Probably my favorite when it comes to like the video production, favorite one I've seen so far. Wow, that was amazing. Completely threw me for a loop with their with that transition, but this was fun. This was like, it looks like them, like that's so fun with the intros. I love that everyone's wearing pink here, and then they turn into like a very femme but like steampunk femme vibe later. So this has a very like Barbie, and then it takes a 180, but they're both still very feminine. So I think they're doing a good job, you know, with integrating, like, with who's choreographing what. Like, I really like the choices that they made. Like, it really got a lot. Like, this is good for now. Like, I would say if it kind of stayed at this level, I would be a bit worried. But the performance is great. But I would say that I feel like this crew could do so much more if that was all I had seen. That was a great transition, masking transition. This was fun. It's very playful. It's very loud in movement, right? Yeah. Da 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 da. Good musicality. I will say, like, with a lot of these groups, they're not really super worried about being like super clean to match each other. They're energy matches, but they are different. So that was fun. I kind of wish that they went a little bit, like, melted a little bit lower and grimy into that, but that still works. They still hit the sound. I have no complaints there. That's fun. This feels very simple, like I said, too. So I would say, like, the first couple choreos that I've seen of this video up to this point, they feel very typical, right? Like your typical mirroring, your framing, typical switch, doing the same thing but mirrored, or doing the same thing but maybe going in a different direction. It feels very much like K-pop group, which I know a lot of these people come from that background, so it makes sense why those fingerprints are cross happening. So this is very super nuanced. So this is super Vogue influence. I'm assuming she's in they're in the Vogue scene here. Yeah, nice. That was a nice moment whenever they twisted the heels to get to this part, and then she goes down for a death drop. Ugh, this is filthy. I love this. Each girl, and then they're all, like, even their hair is different. Like, this just screams so different. And that really threw me for a loop. I love it. Ugh. And it's so interesting that when they're wearing this is when they're choosing to get grimier in their movement. And it's working. This is great. I will say some of my dancers are not utilizing their torso as much as they could. I mean, it's better there. But in, like, the super grimy stuff, they're not really getting into it as much as some of my other dancers have been. But it's not so visual enough for me that it's throwing me off, like I've seen in some other cases. This is probably my favorite sequence of the whole clip, because it's in the concept. These tutting sequences are hard, but remember, this right here reminds me of Naughty, right? So it reminds me of Naughty. With the person with the hands here, they probably have like a GoPro or something in their mouth, and then she's reacting to it. So that has a heavy inspiration of that section. But I love her fluency in her tuts, because that's difficult to hit all that. That was difficult. It's a difficult sequence, and I love this here. Great filter here. That was fun. Oh, I love that. That was fun. Yeah, so I would say this is gonna be my big note for this crew. I'm really worried about them for, like, more of the grimier styles. If the challenges work out to where they have to dive into that, that's gonna be very interesting in what they choose to do. But maybe they get lucky in their challenges, and it really meets them where they are in their postures, because it seems like they're very fluent in their respective styles. Like, that's what I really like about this for them. Like, I can tell that they each have their own niche that they're good at, and it doesn't look like they have oversaturated each other with their own perspective. So it feels like each person has their own perspective, and I think that's, like, really important in a crew. Is you don't want too many people that have a very similar wheelhouse of movement. You want people that have some similarities, but they need to be different enough because they're able to fill in gaps of what you yourself may not be able to provide, either as a leader or as a fellow crew member. So that was really dope. When it comes to the visuals, I think that was my favorite. Like, that was so cute, you know, but it was also like, ugh, you know? Let's say with content, I would say they definitely held their own. Do I think that they were the strongest in grooves? Probably not. Do I think that their choreography is the strongest? I think it depends on what the choreography was or what the choreography calls for. I would say their tutting is pretty complex, and that's really good because refining tuts and angles is really difficult to do and actually excel in. And I know 1 Million also has some girls that are killer with tuts too, so that'll be really interesting. I kind of hope that some tutters kind of go up against each other in the freestyle. I think that would be really fun. Don't you think? Yeah. Okay. Nice headpieces. Hey. Out the gate. Wow. Okay, we got some whacking here represented. That was a nice little moment. Nice. Heels. Wow. There we go. This is one of my whacking crews, it looks like. Let's go. Okay, all of them are in heels. Let's go. Wow. I like it whenever the crews do a costume change. This is really nice. Good visual here. Okay. There we go. Whacking and tutting. Sheesh. Yeah. And everybody's able to do it. Wow. Okay. Nice. Wow. That was nice. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try to see who's on this list. Red leg, Green J. Okay. I've seen a couple of them. Now that I look, I've seen a couple of them on whenever I would watch class footage on Instagram. So, okay, initial thoughts, I would say they're definitely probably one of the strongest in the femme, like, actual, like, heels, you know, and it really feels like their crew has a very specific niche. It's like whacking and heelography, and then a lot of the styles that tailor between those two in kind of the work that you get when you do heels is a lot. It's very sexy, very feminine. I think there's no mistake about that. I will say they have a lot of moments of just visuals too, and I think it's very high energy too. I will say, though, I would kind of heed a big level of caution to this, though. It's that it could very much limit the potential of your crew when it comes to the amount of opportunities within the challenges, because I do feel like the challenges are going to be very wide in range, where your crew is going to need to carry different weights, right? Like somebody who may have a very, very heavy in tutting and whacking, somebody needs to be really heavy in something different. If everybody, I think this is an example of if everybody, even though they're freaking great, I think they're one of the only crews that are like smashing it in whacking, you know, and they're doing a fantastic job, and in the heels too. But like, for example, a lot of this style of choreo, this is like your commercial, like not angry, I mean, it's very strong and staccato and sharp, you know, and a lot of choreography. I really feel that this gives off, like, this just looks like, it looks like choreography, right? And I know this is, of course, choreography, but you don't want it to just look like movement. And that's what it feels like to me right now. Just these two sections in particular. I would say once it got to the heels and it got to the whacking sections, those are what really took this off for me. Like, but this part of me is strong. Like, these are strong. Her coming out, I think, was the first time I was able to see a sense of nuance and variety. Like, what I had seen so far was very, like, you know, very typical, strong. Everybody here on this show probably could do those two beginning choreos, you know, like, that's what it feels like. But here, this is where I'm seeing their group's identity. Like, that felt like that. This was a nice little nuance of using the walls, angles, like, this was cool. Like, yeah, I like the innovation of using the props around you, or actually using your stage, or using the room, you know, instead of just existing in it. Yeah, so this is the first introduction of them actually with heels. She's like this is very sexy, you know? And her actually twerking to that drum, it's impressive, you know? This is fabulous. All this, all that, da 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 da. Love that section. That is awesome. Yeah, that was fierce. I love it. They were like, welcome. That was great. They're strong. Yeah. Yep, so they're doing a great job in general of just, you know, their formations feel pretty, like, they're not doing too much with their formations. Their camera's really helping them here. Yeah, I would say their costume is really cool. I think it was interesting that they are in white and then you just see them go to black. So it's like really cool that they have a lot of different costume changes here. This is nice where they're just kind of here. Takes up time. It's, like I said, very visual oriented. They're showcasing who they are. They're like, welcome, this is us. We very much are here for ourselves, like for each other. And this has more, you know, and this is very fierce because you have more tutting is integrated now, not just the whacking. But she is integrating both. Like, these are really difficult musicality phrases to hit with whacks and with tuts. Like, you have to be fluent in, like, you gotta be very familiar with both. Train for them for an extended period of time. To even have this level of control and level of presence. So I think it's huge strength of theirs. Yeah, I love that. And then we come back here. This is the ending here. They're not in their heels anymore. They're not really doing whacking. They're going and they're doing choreo similar to what we saw earlier. That was a nice little pose that they did with some whacking. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, that ending was very strong. Like the fierceness of the ending was great. I love the lasers. That was super cool. So I will stand by what I say and what I said, which was I really don't know how they will do when it comes to the different variety of challenges they may face as a group, because, you know, not every challenge they're going to get is going to be able to be done within this particular scope, you know. So, but I really hope I'm proven wrong. I really hope that they just come out and they say, watch, we can do every single challenge and still look like us. Like, that's a really big thing that you can't really tell just from a minute and a half of somebody's crew. But that's my one thing that I will be looking at from this crew. I will also say too that because they have a lot of tutting and whacking especially, I'm curious how they do in the freestyle realm. I would hope that they're strong. The only thing that would cause a detriment would probably be if they are given a music choice that is not helpful in the posture of whacking. That's really the only thing that could probably set them up for not really being successful, or if it's a song they don't know. Like, some people don't know how to dance or figure out how to dance to songs they don't know, and that's okay, but that's definitely something in freestyle. If you want to grow in freestyle, I highly recommend you try to dance to many different genres, but also try to dance songs that you don't know, so you don't get too comfortable. So that's just my little thing here. But overall, I think they held their own. They did pretty good. I would say there's certain parts of their choreo I wish there were more. Like, there was more, especially in the beginning and near the end, just those bookends. But I would say that middle, the heel and the whacking sections were super strong, for sure. They're a force to be reckoned with those styles, for sure. Ooh. Oh, this is fun. I like the intros of everybody. Sayaka with the $sign. Miki. Everybody's got red hair. Okay. Okay, with the graphics, I see you. Nice. Very strong. Yep. Okay. Hey, okay. Okay. I'm glad everybody's wearing a different top underneath. So we're not everybody's wearing the exact same thing. Okay, that was fun. That was good. Okay. Hey. That was fun. Ooh, that was nice. Sheesh, you better, girl. Nice aerial view. Hey. Okay. Okay. Okay, I love the subtlety of them switching up. Like every once in a while, you have a couple of the girls have different jackets. I think everybody had the same jacket at the beginning, right? Okay. Okay, that was strong. Very strong choreographically. Will I say that that was the most visually enticing out of all of them? I'd say they had some gimmicks, but I would say if I'm going to compare them to some of the other ones I've already seen, there are some that really bring a lot more visual, really taking advantage of the cinematography opportunity. They really use it to their advantage. I would say here, it looks really cool. This intro was awesome. I love the intro, how they introduce themselves. Like each one had red hair. Like that was fun. You know, it kind of shows that they committed to a particular character. I love that. That was fun. And I know this is our Japanese crew, right? Yeah. Which is fun. I love where they filmed it. Has a very ruggedness about it. You know, in a junkyard and then in the warehouse. So that was cool. I like the locations. Fun. So the intros, they all walk in. Fun. And then you have this kind of graphic here. Do I think it was like necessary? I don't think this was 100% necessary. I mean, it's cool. The great masking techniques, but I know they used it as a transition, so I'll give them that for sure. So now this transition going forward, 6, 7, like that just felt very typical. Walk, and then fast, you know. So I feel like this just feels like I'm watching a dance visual, right? Versus a concept visual, you know. Like a lot of people really took the concept route, which I feel out of everything I'm leaning more towards than just kind of the dance crew. Here's me and my crew, you know, because I feel like that would be I'm gonna end up seeing that a lot more in the season. So I thought that was kind of, I wish they took a more conceptual approach, like how they set it up in the beginning. So I'm noticing that some of our girls are actually in the short sleeves. Not everybody's in the long sleeves. I don't know why I thought everybody was in the same outfit, but like their musicality is great and they're clean and they're full, and that's a really important thing to have when you're competing as a group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think crews can have up to 6, I think, right? And just seeing that when you have a small group, this is considered a small group, I would say. This was fun. You know, whenever you have a small group, you have to be mindful that you have to carry more of the stage, which is why, you know, I know mega crews tend to be more captivating because of just the numbers can be so overwhelming. But here, they've done a great job of really projecting. Like, I was engaged the whole time, for sure. Now, did I feel like some of the movement, it just felt very full the whole time? It really did. I feel like there could have been more moments to breathe. Like this whole beginning section, like they have grooves where they're smaller, but it's still very like they're matching the music, and it's just the movement is loud for a long time, so it's hard for me to find a lot more moments to enjoy, you know. But their grooves are great, you know. I really like their movement quality. I really like some of the choices they're making, you know. I love their formations. There's so many things I like. I just wish I could appreciate it more. If they just took a different, like, you know, a different approach in not being so aggressive in their movement the whole time, you know. And that's something that I've talked about with crews, having some moment of pauses, which they do end up having a really good moment. But this is fun, you know. That was a nice moment here. Yep. Good. This was cool. I loved this. Ooh, okay, I know I screamed during that first one, but I love that. That was a great nuance right there. That was fun. Yep. Yep. So I like the aerial view, and I like getting the same, like getting the choreo in a different vibe. I love this angle that they have. I like the fact they're facing each other because it feels like we're here to battle. Yeah, that was fun. I love these little moments with the link up there. I really liked that as well. Yeah. I also know too the roughness of the camera. They probably wanted that to be more rigid, like just to create the more rigidness. But I will say it can take away from choreography if you see it too much. I think I noticed it in a couple other videos. Like it can take away if you're not mindful of when you choose to place that type of camera vibe on your stuff. And I know it's the person who's holding it, right? So like this one's, you know, I like that's more placed, right? So it's smooth and a boom, 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 boom. That really helped them for that section. It made it look bigger, which I really liked. Yeah, I like that. I have a feeling they kind of did something similar to that a little bit earlier, you know? So, I mean, for me, it looks like they're very strong, very full, and I feel like their stamina is incredible. You know, to be this full for this long, you know, even though I know this was cut in particular in pieces, it's still really impressive to be able to dance on that type of terrain and this type of attire, this full, you know, especially like not even wearing sleeves and still even being able to carry that kind of not masculine posture, but very full posture. It is very impressive to do. So I will say this is going to be a very strong team. Is this my favorite crew showcase out of all of them? No. I do feel like there were a couple others that really caught my attention for different reasons, because I think it was just the context of what my expectations were for these types of videos. Now, do they hold their own? Absolutely. Do I think that this showed me that they're kind of going to be not a wild card, but they're going to be a really big competitor in this? Is what it feels like, because all of them are very strong. No one stood out in a good way or a bad way. Does that make sense? And that's a good thing. Like, you want people to, whenever you want your group to be unified, it's really good that everybody blends in with each other. The only thing that I would note though is that I really didn't see a huge variety of multiple genres of movement. I think that's another thing I don't think I really pointed out, but in a lot of other crews, you see some people are they tailor to a particular style, and then other people, they have a different approach to a different style, but it complements this style, you know? So they have different styles at the table. Do I think that this, do they have a foundation? Probably, but was I able to see like really specific styles represented? I don't think so. Really, now that I'm thinking about it, there wasn't anything that they did that I was like, oh, they're doing tutting, oh, they're doing whacking, oh, they're doing popping, right? But I do think that they're going to be really strong on the choreography side, obviously, and I know they're known as like the choreography powerhouse of Japan, so I am looking forward to seeing them in the challenges moving forward. Yeah. Okay. Huh. This is under, so it looks under, it's under a bridge. This looks like either somebody covered up in paper. Oh. Wow. Oh. Wow. Nice. Okay. Is she breaking off of a car? Nice. Wow. Okay. Ooh. Okay. They're taking a really old school rock and bounce to this, but it has a griminess to it as well with their legato grooves. Ugh. Slimy is how I would describe their grooves, and I love it. Wow. Huh. That caught me so off guard. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And I think that's super cool. I loved that. That was great. What I will say too, I do like the simplicity of this. I know like some people really went a super conceptual route and I loved it. And some people took a very like grunge, here we are aesthetic. They married the two together. Like they had a concept, like but the concept was more so they showed their fluency of working in their surroundings. I think they worked their surroundings the best out of everybody because they didn't have, I guess, firstly, it wasn't as manufactured, right? So when you notice, like, this was just a nice little set. It took me a second to know what this was. At first, I thought it was like a concert, you know, but I obviously knew it probably wasn't. But then I saw the bridge and I saw I just saw the car and I really made to what I was looking at. She pops off to come up, and then just her rock. Just how she's choosing to move through this girl right here. Sheesh Louise, like her groove is so. They just have a very mature sense of movement. I think that's what I like about them. It's great. Hey. Nice. Each girl, it looks like each girl has their own niche that they do. And they vibes so well with them. I love the jacket toss as the transition. Love it. That was fun. I love her coming off the ground, doing a lot of, not really, I mean some threading, you know, a little bit of that there with her arms. I love, she gets out of the car. She's not doing too much, but she's like, I know this is how I move. Like this is my vibe. Like it's just, I love it. And she's sitting there doing some incredible, just, she looks weightless, just draping off the car. Like that, I think it's like, it's their choices is why they feel so mature. You know, it feels like they are women who are so comfortable in these styles. They're able to make these choices and it just feels so authentic. It feels lived in, you know, and I think the car choice and their location really helps with this. And they're not doing a ton concept wise, but it still feels like a concept, you know. Ugh. This feels like a cruise showcase, you know. Oof. Yeah. They have a lot of freestyle moments here too. Like I saw Jam Republic. This right here, just seeing their choreo, I will say it's probably one of the simpler choreos that we've seen out of all the crews. However, I will say execution of choreo really matters. So I'd rather the choreo be simple but you murder the execution than it be complex and your body's not able to hold on to its appropriate texture and how you're supposed to execute it or the posture in which you're supposed to hold it down. So I will say their movement quality is beautiful. Are they clean? Their range is clean-ish. I will say their timing is great, but how they're executing the details are all slightly different. So that could be something that works against them if you're trying to go off for cleanliness and uniformity. If that's a challenge, they could potentially struggle with that because everybody is so lived in their own craft and it meshes well. It works in this case beautifully, but I don't know how it would work if you're looking for like clean, militant clean, if that makes sense. But you know what? I don't know. I'm not quite familiar with the challenges, so I can't tell you if that's going to actually be a problem for them. But look, they have an essence about them that feels like we're here to play, but also it's they're dogs who can bite if you push it. You know what I mean? It's like when you mess around and find out, like that graph, that's the kind of vibe they give off. They give off a very much we will respect you if you respect us. Like there's a natural respect about them, but if you diss that, they'll come after you, is what it feels like, you know? So that makes me pretty pumped about this, for real. Awesome. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. That was all 8 crews, my review of all of them. I'm freaking pumped just about starting the first episode. It's gonna be great. I'm just looking forward to seeing how each of them grow this year. I think every crew has an area of what they could possibly work on, whether that is through choreographic range or from concept choice, maybe even something as simple as song choice, or maybe just representing each person's individual craft but cohesively. I feel that everybody has something different to bring to the table, and that's what I'm really excited about with the show, is that all of these people I feel are credible in their own right, and I love that type of representation, not only on the homeland Korea but also international with some of these other dancers coming in. It's gonna be wild, and I cannot wait to do it alongside you guys. This was awesome. Thank you again for watching. I know this one was super long, and I'll do my best, like I said, to put everything down at the bottom, and hopefully you stick around with me through the whole season, and I'm excited where it goes. So, all right guys, I'll see you guys later. Bye.